Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Strompcast. I hope you had a very good New Year's and a healthy New Year's as well. We are back better than ever, though. Today, we are joined by a very special guest. Kevin, how you doing today, man?
Not bad, man. Didn't really expect the win the way that it went, but yeah, we'll take it. Feeling good about that, and hopefully, let's see what's going to happen this weekend. But we've got a lot to get into for today.
Yeah, most definitely. The transfer rumours are now, it's officially silly season, I think, with all the rumours we've had just today alone.
Yeah, it really feels like it's just like switched on all of a sudden.
Sam, we're Portuguese, it's always silly season in these parts.
Very true. Richard, how you doing today, man?
I'm good. Like Kevin said, very unexpected win, but we are not going to complain one bit about that. Especially after the circus game against Guimarães, which we'll talk about too today, but we'll take it. We know we can kind of hang with the big boys domestically at least, so that's something. We'll take it.
Yeah, most definitely. Chris, how you doing today, man?
I didn't forget about the Guimarães game, but I definitely hadn't thought about it in at least 24 hours. And now I thought about it again, and I'm just remembering how that was so fucked. But forgot about it. Had the opportunity to at least put it behind us. Great result. Really didn't expect it, like Rich and Kevin said. And also welcome back, Kev. Especially after how it started. Horrible start, to be honest. And yeah, that's a great result. The opportunity. We're still playing for a trophy this weekend now. Right where we want to be. And our rivals also kind of helped us this weekend as well. Not really taking event. Oh, one game got canceled and the other lost. So we gained a point.
Yeah, facts. And last but not least, long time no see. Danny, how you doing today, man?
I'm a little cold today in the most northern state of the United States of America, but
knock it off.
But otherwise, listen, just let me get paid in USD and I'm happy. But otherwise, feeling good. I mean, unexpected wins like I wasn't here for the Benfica game, but unexpected wins. I was a little bit of a hiatus, a little busy. So happy New Year's, boys. Happy New Year's, Kev. Happy New Year's to everybody listening and watching. In all honesty, I love João Pereira so much. I didn't want to come on and slander him. So that's why I couldn't.
Fair.
So
all right.
João Pereira, Toronto FC is available. Feel free to come through, buddy.
That'd be a great job for him if he
bro. I mean,
that.
Perfect for him. We're already garbage. It's perfect for him.
Yeah, make sure you follow all things Alvalade on all social media and podcast platforms. Without further ado, let's get into the game that happened just recently, and that is the 1-0 win against Porto. Let me go through the lineups, and that is Franco Israel in goal. Mateus Reis was forced off after 20 minutes. Didn't even get a rating. That's how injured he was, I suppose, how quick it happened. St. Just, Diamonde, Fresneda, Maxi Rougeau, Morita, Hjulmand, Jenny, Jokres, Trincao. Off the bench came Giovanni Kenda. Don't really know if he got that assist, to be honest, but, fair enough. Goal point, give it to him. I'll give it to him as well.
I think he did.
I'll give it to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's give it to him. And Conrad Harder. Kevin, since you're the guest, what were your overall thoughts on this game today?
Well, taking away the short periods of the game that I couldn't watch because I was at work watching the game on my phone, I was not really impressed with the first half, but I think it's more or less expected at this stage of the season. You're going to have a little bit of fatigue creeping in. You're going to have to kind of manage our way through some first halves, some second halves, as we have seen with lesser success. Porto did seem to have a little bit more of a grasp of the game in the first half, maybe taking a little bit more control, but nothing as a lot of people on Twitter and a lot of Portistas would want to make it seem. It was quite balanced in the first half. Sporting did improve. Nearer to the end of the first half, coming into the second, I thought we saw a lot better attitude and a little bit of a refreshed side starting in the second half. Obviously, we got the fruits of that labour. We got the goal. Obviously, Jokres doing what he does against Porto pretty much every single game that he faces. Big game player. Porto's backline just don't seem to have the solutions to deal with him, as do most of Europe. Have no clue. And yeah, from then on, it was rectifying the mistakes of the Vitoria game, which we will go on to afterwards, which was trying to defend a little bit more compact, not make the same mistakes as we did before, but also not try and give them too much space to work with. Sit compact, but not as deep as before, because obviously Porto have a lot of good short space operators, but they didn't seem to be comfortable in the final third. We didn't give them too much space this time. Players like Diomande had a lot better performances. Fresneda was unbelievable. Was by far his best game for Sporting. And yeah, I think it's just about a justified win. Porto might have had better periods in the game, but you can't really say they had too many opportunities. So I'm overall quite happy because, as our manager said, Rui Borges, when we don't have the quality, we're going to have the attitude. And the attitude was a lot better today. And it seemed like we did rectify some of the mistakes from the last game, that very disappointing 4-4. So as long as we see the process continuing and that we are getting better, hey, I'm going to be happy. And if it comes with a win and a little game at the final, as much as we don't really rate this competition the way that the league are trying to
Speak for
improve
yourself,
it.
buddy.
Especially
This is my
the new
Champions League,
format.
buddy.
This is our World Cup, man. That's
The
how
new
important
format
it
is trash, though. Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
Hey,
never forget
speak
the
for
old
yourselves.
format, man. What they never
How
forget what
many?
they took from us.
So many old formats by now.
What
Every
happened?
year's a new
What
one.
happened to the
The
game I
most
love?
recent old format.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll go into obviously the Guimarães game and transfer news. I just want to touch your thoughts on Franco Israel, because I know that you're not exactly the biggest fan. I think a lot of us here are split on Franco Israel, or have been in the past. He obviously keeping the clean sheet today, but again, still a lot of times doesn't want to come off his line. Looks a bit shaky. Whenever Porto got a corner or a free kick,
Dude, I was kind of holding my breath when he was coming out to punch the corners. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. But Kevin, what were your thoughts on mainly Israel this game, and let's say maybe sort of like last 5-6 weeks of Franco Israel?
Well, look, Frank Israel, he didn't do anything wrong today particularly. Obviously, he has his iffy moments. He's not comfortable coming off his line. His body language shows it. Even when he does do it, he's not 100% comfortable. And that sort of language that he transmits to his defenders, it will pass to them. They will want to sit a little bit deep and protect him. It messes that psychological side. It does mess with the defenders. So I'm never going to be a fan of Frank Israel because he's not good enough. He's a less complete version, or a less complete goalkeeper than Kovacevic. And Kovacevic is not good enough for Sporting. He's shown it just on the shot-stopping side. So at the end of the day, Frank Israel is just not good enough. He's not good enough coming off his line. He's not good enough claiming crosses. He doesn't have that presence in the box. Controlling the defensive line, not good enough either. And shot stopping, he's still erratic. He's not a shot stopper close to the level of Sporting. He's just not good enough, even in his best phase of game. And what really worries me going forward is more the fact that we've got a goalkeeper who, from the day that he signed from Juventus, I don't think he's got much better. I haven't seen any evolution in those sides of his game. So not only am I worried about the future of the goalkeeper position going forward, but also what work is going on behind the scenes for the future talents like Miguel Gouveia, like Diakolai, who, where is he even?
Who?
That's my issue.
Oops.
It's like we could almost get Kovacevic. He could almost look. He could go on loan. He could get his confidence back, come back a little bit more prepared, put that bad phase behind him, which has clearly messed with his head, because he wasn't doing that in Poland or the Europa League. He had something to show, and it looked good enough for this level. It hasn't translated. It doesn't mean he's the worst goalkeeper in the world, but when you seem glued to your to the ground, when you're called to action, you need to give it up. And Franco, he could improve. He could get better in these aspects because he is a young goalkeeper. But right now, he's not a solution, and we haven't seen any evolution yet. So I'm concerned not only right now, but also going forward. Like, what's to say that the next goalkeeper will improve as well? Because it seems like the coaching isn't even there. So yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah, just a quick one. Would you take Claudio Ramos over Franco Israel right now?
100%.
100%.
Any day.
Would you
Sammy
take
Portugal as well?
$1,000 if I gave it to you right now?
I,
No actual conditions. Of
I was
course.
gonna say, Sam, I might even take Samuel Portugal ahead of.
I'll be honest, like,
Yeah,
didn't
Better
it
come
felt
from
like
last season.
Ramos was shakier in net than Costa. I mean, I was happy that we were shooting on Claudio Ramos. You know,
As opposed
I
to
felt like it
Costa.
gave us higher odds of scoring.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that he's a bad keeper, right?
Yeah.
The thing that's crazy to me about Kovacevic is that, like, his physical profile, he's both taller, lankier, rangier than Israel, but it seems like he can't reach as far.
he seems like he's playing shorter.
So,
than
like,
he actually
between
is.
the two of them, I understand why you would choose Israel. I think it's a relatively obvious decision right now. But that's just the one thing. I mean, can't say I followed his whole career. I've seen him play half a season at Sporting, but, like, the thing that's always amazed me is, like, how big he is and how short his range is. It's almost remarkable. So yeah, I do think he needs to just get the fuck out of here and just, like, try again somewhere else and then maybe return. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of Chris, what are your overall thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I think the big detail about the 30-minute window or 35-minute window or so domination by Porto in the first half was the fact they weren't carving out clear-cut opportunities. We were staying relatively organized. And I mean, this formation is still relatively new to us. I mean, I'm going to be honest, like, St. Juice, like, when was he last a center back in a back? Like, it's been years, I'm guessing, right? Like, I don't know. Like, Fresneda, I mean, this is obviously a formation that he has excelled at more over the course of his life. But to start a game like this, I mean, it's still a big ask. I thought he played well, obviously. You know, I think I feel kind of the same way about Israel as I do with Fresneda right now. It's like, I can see that there's, like, something there. I guess Fresneda has a price tag attached to him that Israel necessarily doesn't, so it makes it a bit more disappointing for Fresneda, I suppose. But it's like there's something there. You see flashes. They can hold their own a lot of the time. Sometimes it's unremarkable, but just, like, my hunch deep down, it's like this isn't a player for a Sporting team that is trying to, you know, compete with the top clubs in Europe. It's maybe a fine placeholder for an OK Sporting or a rotation player, but I mean, this is not our starting right back, like, of the future, right? But, you know, we have him now. We don't have much depth at the position. If he can become serviceable in the short term, I think that that's a good outcome.
That's a win.
Because he was nothing before this. He wasn't even an option, you know, he didn't even really exist to the manager.
He was just a guy.
So if he becomes serviceable, it's a short-term win for sure. But, you know, long-term, probably you're going to need to look elsewhere. Humeland, I thought was like, I thought he was so good today. Such a, like, strong leader, boss of the midfield. I don't know. I've just fresh off his Danish Player of the Year award, just honestly pretty big deal. Good for him. Totally deserved. Like, if he's ever, the yellow card he got, I was like, oh man, I don't know what he's at, or if this counts towards his total or whatever. But when he has to sit one, eventually it's gonna suck. Simoes, not his best game off the bench for sure, but, you know, he was okay. A lot of opportunities lately for him. It'll be interesting. Juan Bragança comes back. What happens? Does he just disappear? Does he stick around? Does he play sometimes? Is he competition? Does Bragança not just slot in as easily as he did? It'll be interesting. But, you know, a little competition, I suppose, is not necessarily bad. And yeah, I mean, we're deserved winners. Gyökeres couldn't get a foul all night. Honestly,
Couldn't buy a foul, yeah.
Couldn't buy one either. Arujo probably thought he got fouled at least 3 times. Really didn't get any. Same with Gyökeres. The one at the end where he's dragged down by Otavio and they call an offensive foul. I mean,
ridiculous.
I mean, there's at least like 3 that are just absurd. I guess he's developing that rep as just like a fucking tank. So
They're just figuring he's probably getting.
Yeah, they're just
getting hit,
assuming that like
there's-
it's tougher to bring him down, and like if he does go down, he's looking
Mhm.
for it, and like he's the aggressor in more situations. I suppose. Like I guess that's just the rep that he's developing, and it kind of sucks because he noticeably is getting a lot less calls than he once did. And
I think if you look at the calls he was getting even at the
It's tough
start
to
of the
stop him.
season to now.
refs don't want to call a
Yeah.
foul every single fucking time, right? So
No, I get that. Like,
you just let it, and you just and then you're like, you don't want to call, and then it's just like, oh well, that was it's him. It's like, oh, it's just a little tug, like, oh, it's just a little kick, like,
it's a little.
and then you
it's a
just end
little
up calling
shove, a
nothing. I
push,
feel like.
yeah,
His strength just works to his detriment because he's
Yeah,
so
a
little
strong
bit.
that the referee doesn't want to call anything.
Yeah.
he's like, well, he's the bigger man, so like he should be fine.
The
Ideally.
one, I mean, I actually didn't really ever get to see a good replay, but I was informed it was outside the box. Estacio just like kicks him,
Fix him. Yeah.
no call.
Yeah.
He
Boots
really
the hell out of him.
gets nothing. He gets nothing. So that definitely is a shitty development, but we move. And then I guess one of the less impactful Trincão games in recent memory.
Yeah, he wasn't. He wasn't.
He's
impressive
been
for me.
sort of on a tear. I guess you could argue he's sort of out of position as well. Didn't love Jenny either. A couple games in a row now. He's frustrating in the sense where like I can see the vision a lot of the time when he fucks up.
It's the.
It's
I think it's the decision making,
Yeah,
especially in the
yeah.
final
And
third.
it's also like, oh, if he just got past that one guy, then he can cross it in, or he get the shot. He just got to
Yeah.
do one, and he just like, or beat one guy,
Or-
try to get the second. It's just tough.
So
Um,
I feel like he's overcomplicating things a bit. Like sometimes the simpler play is the best play.
And he remains dangerous, even
Mm-hmm.
through this, like, I guess you could say, like, stretch of, like, more inconsistent form, you could say, I suppose. He still remains dangerous. If he gets the ball in dangerous areas, he's still fucking dangerous. And he can still, put a good shot on target. He still cross a good ball in. It's just, the decision making is a bit frustrating at times. But, we're deserved winners today. Vitor Bruno's chatting shit to a 19-year-old after the game. Clearly a bit rattled. It feels good. It felt good. I felt good after the game.
I don't even know
Let's
what
go
Harder
for the
did.
real
There was
now.
no sort of replay or anything.
Yeah.
like that.
I want to know what happened. That
He must
like,
have celebrated in
pissed
front of
him
the bench.
off.
That's the only thing I can think of. Like he's gone in front of the
Even
bench.
that's
what
He
they're
was on
saying
that
it
side of
was,
the
yeah.
pitch as well. Yeah. So yeah, that makes sense.
Bro's jimmies were absolutely rustled. Like what the
Yeah,
hell happened?
I think what it is Sergio Conceição just won the League Cup in Italy 10 days in, and Vitor Bruno, the traitor, is out here struggling. So maybe that's why.
He just, dude, he
That's
has like
the
he's got a sweaty face or something, bro.
Facts.
Something about his face is just not it.
I've never,
not
I've
it,
never
bro.
heard anybody describe anyone. He's got a sweaty face, bro. I've never heard that used to describe anyone.
Yeah.
I'm using
I see
that
it, though.
though.
I see it.
Yeah,
I get it.
Daddy, what are your overall thoughts on this game?
Yeah. Just to harp on the St. Juice point that Chris mentioned, one miracle. This is what his third game in a row or fourth game in a row. Not
Made it.
injured.
We're
Miracle.
starting to take it for granted a little bit, and
Let's
Yeah,
let's not get too excited.
The injury's coming
Comforting
soon,
bit.
probably.
Hang
Touch
nail,
wood, but
hang nail incoming.
I've been surprised that he's been playing on the left side of the two
been
rather
okay,
than the
though.
right. I mean, like he's done good. Yeah, no, for sure. I'm just surprised he's playing on the left rather than the
Yeah.
right.
No, that's fair.
To Chris's point, even at Frankfurt or Mainz, I believe he came from. Which one did he come from?
Mainz, I believe.
Mainz, sorry.
Mainz, yeah.
I'm pretty sure even then he was playing as a right back, not so much as a center back too. So I think his even at Feyenoord, I know he played as a right back too.
He
Surprised
played through at the back as well, yeah.
So yeah, exactly. So surprised he's slotting in at center back for us because not enough of us, even online, we haven't mentioned the Bast at all. A lot of people have mentioned Edwards. Where is the Bast? Interesting.
I was
see
about
how
to say
else
that there was a
slotted
moment in
all
the
this.
game where he had 5 people warming up, and Edwards wasn't even one of them.
Yeah, true.
He wasn't there
Um,
today. He was ill. I think he's got the flu, I believe.
Oh, was he not even on the
Edwards.
bench today?
Yeah, it wasn't on the bench today.
It makes sense then. The same
that
thing.
But
explains
I mean,
That
it wouldn't
explains
matter
it.
regardless.
Yeah,
yeah.
checks out.
Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered regardless.
It's
Anyway.
it's the same flu Rashford has. That's why he hasn't been to training for.
Yeah, it's
something
called
in England.
It's called
Sam, what's passing around over there, bro?
It's called the fuck you flu. Get out of my team. It's called the fuck you get out of our team flu. That's what it's called.
I just want to mention Maxi today. He was frustrated. Even with Fresneda, I think Fresneda played well. I think Maxi played well, but they had their frustrating moments there. I liked Maxi though. I liked him more on the wing than he was at left back. We'll get into transfers soon, but I think left back is a place that we really need to invest in more than the right back position. I think at this point we should maybe keep Fresneda. We have Quaresma at that spot.
We've got Esgaio right there too, man. Like, let's
I forgot about him for a second.
Just put him left back.
Fresneda can go. Fresneda can go. Never mind.
He was warming up.
Yeah,
he was.
Yeah, keep him.
He's still suspended in the league, though. I think, right? If I'm not mistaken, that's what it is. So,
yeah.
Good. Keep him there.
Keep him there. He's doing great.
Facts, for real.
Keep him suspended.
For real. I
That
think
red card was his best performance all season, man. It was phenomenal.
Facts. These guys should link up with our other right back that was our coach just a few weeks ago. Maybe there's a job there for him.
That iPad boy, right? Yeah,
exactly.
He replaces stands. Just
facts. He's the one holding on to it.
He's holding on to it while Player plays Clash of Clans.
But I mean, the only point I want to make here that actually before that, Kenda I think needs to start next game. Kenda came on and I thought he played well. Another great assist today, just like the Guimarães game as well. Only point I want to make is I'm not in love with the tactics, and I understand we're early days into this. Mm-hmm. We've probably barely had any training sessions. I get it all. I just feel like it's too many gaps in the midfield when the team is attacking us, which is weird because we also played with two midfielders under Amorim. I guess that third defender really makes a big difference, of course. Mm-hmm. But our build-up play from the back, I'm not in love with. I'm not in love, although it works at times, and bless him because he works so hard. I'm not in love with how wide Gyökeres constantly goes. We're not playing in behind them as much. We're more so playing to him. He'll go out wide sort of thing.
I think a great example of the strategy just shitting the fucking bed was the Gil Vicente game.
Yeah.
Like
the 0-0.
Played the same tactics. Gyökeres was just getting it out wide and just like, it's really just like, okay, and also I'd love to see how this works with almost any other forward.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, Harder will, I think, do the same job.
He can transport the ball well. You're right. He actually is a fairly natural replacement.
But they're both of them aren't wingers. Like, how many times today did Gyökeres try to take on a fullback and get rinsed like or not really make the right play through, right? So, so I'm not in love with that aspect. But again, I think when Pot comes back, Pot will play the Trincão role. Trincão will probably go where Jenny is.
True,
Jenny might go out on the left or Kenda or, So there's obviously going to be improvements there. I personally don't love Trincão all that high. If Trincão's going to play that role, at least try to be more of a second striker. At least come in a bit deeper when defending. I don't like him so close to the line, but that's just me. And again, this is just early days. Other than that, Rui Borges is the communicator that we needed, that we missed since Amorim left a month or so ago. I mean, what a breath of fresh air listening to Tiago Ferreira or whatever his name is, who was so monotone, or Teixeira, there you go. It was so monotone on every conference, on every interview, whereas now Rui Borges comes in. I mean, the first day you've seen it was night and day. The iPads aren't all that out. At least I barely see them now.
They were out against Guimarães.
They were out against
Guimarães. They were a little bit, but it wasn't
but it's not. Our coach isn't glued to the fucking to the bench looking at his
again. I didn't even see it today, so it's like I don't even know if it's
exactly.
I don't think I saw it at all today.
The João Pereira team, and this is the last I'll mention them.
Yeah, dude, there's nothing wrong with looking at something at the iPad. It's when you're just using the iPad the whole.
When you're just on it the whole time. That's where we have
when you're resembling a 3-year-old eating lunch or dinner, that's a problem. You know what I mean? Like, I'm surprised they didn't have the child-proof fucking thing on their iPad.
The protective, like the OtterBox case.
Yeah. Exactly.
Bro, you say
Um,
3. I can't eat my dinner unless I have something in the background, man.
Yo,
Me
I'm
too,
low
to be
key
fair,
the
me
same.
too, to be
I'm
fair.
low key the same way. Like even when we're eating dinner like at home, me and my dad have to put on like Creo de Mañana just to listen to those guys argue about football.
Bro,
Yeah,
someone might
I
be
grew up-
eating now, watching us. So you never know.
True.
Which
If
is
you're
not,
eating,
nothing
watching
wrong
us,
with it.
As they
Nothing
should.
wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. But yeah, I digress. I think there's still a lot more work to be done. I'm loving the 1-0, but I think it was Kevin's point or Chris's point. One of you guys mentioned it. They did nothing with their possession, and especially in those first 30 minutes.
Mhm.
If you look at the stats, it even seemed like Sporting dominated it. And but to quote, I forget who said it. Stats are like bikinis. What they show you is nice. What they don't show you is just as nice. It's the same idea. It may look like we dominated it
Whoa.
in that aspect.
I've never heard that before.
What a quote.
You
Right.
Shout out Filthy
Okay.
Fellas.
just make it up.
No. Shout out. But anyways,
Right now and down.
That's a quote.
it works here. It works here. It looked like Sporting did something in the first half, but they didn't. If you see the game, it looked like Porto did something in the first half, but they didn't really. I mean, I'm looking at the XG now, 0.4, and I would say that they I don't know about the possession stats, but Porto definitely felt at least more dominant. They felt that more threatening than Sporting did.
I felt like
They never
were
got
gonna do
anything on target.
Yeah, I just felt like they were more dangerous when they had possession. There was a
Exactly.
bit more of a sense of urgency. Whereas
But
I think when Sporting had the ball, it was almost like a little complacent at times.
100, exactly. And that's what worries me too, because
Mhm.
then we look at the Guimarães game that we'll get into, and this is my last point. When
It was
you come up against
0.1
a
at
team,
half, Danny. The XG.
Point
0.1,
one.
that's
For
disgusting.
Porto. Yeah.
That's,
For Portugal, yeah, that's
that's
disgusting.
jail worthy offense.
So all that first half talk for a 0.1 XG is ridiculous. But I say this to say, if we play against a team, especially with Israel or even Kovacevic and net, we play against a team that can shoot on target that first half. Do we go into the locker room still 0-0? Even the Benfica game, Benfica did all right. They did better than Porto, I would say, but
for sure.
we come up against some strikers that can maybe bury some chances or do better in front of net, and we have the game that we had last week or last weekend, and not this game today. I'm happy with it though. Long may this continue. I mean, if we can hold this down against the littler teams, I'm sure we'll be able to dominate possession a bit more than we would against Benfica, Guimarães, and Porto. But, and again, I know there's a lot more work to be done, but I'm just not in love with this tactically yet. With Amorim, I know it was more years of work, but I remember even that 4th place finish, even in those games, I felt a lot more comfortable with the tactics than I do currently. But, knock on wood, this will all change, and this time next year,
still
I'm
early.
going to be saying Rui Borges is the next Jose Mourinho. Sick gel, by the way. Whatever gel he uses, fire. I love you, Rui.
Facts. Yeah, Richard, what about your thoughts on today's game?
I'm not going to piggyback too much on what everybody else said. I would agree kind of with what Danny and Chris and Kevin have all kind of said, which is they look kind of complacent at times in the midfield. I do agree with Danny. I think tactically, there's still like a bit of a feeling out process going on. You can kind of see that with kind of the front two. We haven't seen a front two in a long time, it feels like. So I think it's a bit jarring, especially because Trincao isn't like a natural striker. He's a winger through and through. So to see him kind of have to play a bit more as a striker, is a little. I can see why he didn't have like his best game today for sure. Now this will probably evolve. Like Rui said, he's not married to one specific thing. This will change. This is a feeling out process. I think building out from the back as well, like Danny said, it's a little slow. I think we noticed not having that third center back a lot more suddenly now, especially in this game, I would say. That being said, I'm pleasantly surprised by how well more of like a back four has been doing, especially like St. Just and Diomande, they've looked well. Fresneda has been a bit of a revelation, I guess, last couple games where there's signs of life finally, which is really good to see. Jenny, like Chris said, he shows flashes of really good things, but he's a little bit frustrating at times. It's that decision making sometimes, especially in the final third, I think is what gets him and puts him off his game. I thought Araujo had a good game. I thought Hjulman had a wonderful game. Morita, since coming back from injury, has been fun to watch for the most part. And we're getting a couple more guys back from injury in the next little while too, which will be exciting because this team hasn't been at full health for 2 months now, like for a while. So it'll be nice to see what Rui Borges can do with a fully healthy team at his disposal. We've seen some fun football. We've seen some dreadful spells during games. But we've got 2 results out of 3 games and one that we would definitely like to have had back in the second game. But yeah, we move. I'm not going to piggyback too much on what the other guy said. I'll take the 1-0 win. You know, at the end of the day, the game's a game. We'll take a win.
Yeah, facts. I'm the same as you. Not going to say too much. When your quiz went down in the first half, I thought he was done.
You're already writing the eulogy for this season.
It's just the way he straight away, as soon as he fell, held his knee. I thought, you know, and I think it's the same knee that bothered him last year as well. So I do wonder if that will play on from there. In terms of just both the teams in general, I think this is a game between 2 teams who are very tired physically and mentally. I think they've all gone through their big stretches. You know, Sport Visual Pereira and Porto in general with Vitor Bruno have all had those spells where they haven't been on the best form and the fans been against them. But both teams are also in every single competition, and this is a midweek game. Sporting especially had a
baffles
tough
me
game.
about Benfica, especially. They're like with pitchforks at. I'm like, you're like a point out of first place, and it's January. Like, relax.
I know we're all gonna drop 4 points.
Like, everyone's gonna drop more, especially this season.
Yeah.
Like, the league's not going to be decided by who's the best team. It's going to be who's the least bad at this point. The way all the big teams have kind of looked at times this season.
Yeah, and I do think it'll come down to maybe what team gets knocked out first of, you know, either Europa or Champions League, who then has more time to recover from these games, and then we'll be able to go into the next game with a few more injuries. Because I think, you know, last year I think we got quite lucky with not having as many injuries as we did, considering everyone was pretty much fit. We've lost our starting centre back this year. Both of our midfielders, wingers, fullbacks, like you name it, we've lost it. Even our goalkeepers had, you know, illness or injuries. So every single position has been taken at some point. So yeah, I think it was a very tough game for both teams. I also, for Porto, I really like Rodrigo Mora. I think ever since he's come into the team, he's been very good. In the first half, I thought especially he was pretty good. Samu today was just, you know, not there. I think that's mainly due to how St. Just and Diamonde did defend him from him actually getting in the box just a lot of the time. But yeah, I mentioned it earlier. Every time we got Porto got a free kick or a corner, I was very worried for Franco Israel. And, you know, I think we just struggle with set pieces in general as well, especially defending them. But yeah, other than that, you know, happy we got the win, and then that's all that matters really. But yeah, I'll be interested to see. I believe the final is this Saturday, probably at the same time as this game. So we'll see if it will be Braga or Benfica tomorrow. So that will be an interesting one. Kevin, who is your man of the match today?
I'm going to go for Hjulman. I might be a little bit harsh on, obviously, Gyökeres got the goal and Fresneda had an amazing game, but I don't think it's normal that Hjulman are doing so many back-to-back 90s, and it's at this level. And he's by far the most important player in the defensive process at the moment. Always has been. He's our leader. He's been doing his job pretty much faultlessly, even throughout the worst of spells where the players weren't exactly. He had no standouts in that period. Even then, he's been one of the most consistent ones. And today, again, he didn't give Nico that much breathing space. He was closing down interceptions. On the ball, he was pretty much faultless. Throughout the whole game, I think you could probably say Hjulman was our best player. And as it shows on the screen, Eustaki was probably one of Porto's best as well. And it's a really good battle between those two.
Yeah, most definitely. Just a final point on the tactics. I think Rui Borges does need to make subs a bit quicker, especially in this game. The players were
100%
exhausted. And I think it was just a bit of time for some fresh legs. I think Quaresma and Harder probably could have come on a bit sooner. I don't know if Quaresma was injured, that's why he was dropped, or it was just a tactical thing. Maybe he just wants to give Quaresma a bit of a rest. But I think.
Oh,
we
he's
need to
been
do
dead
that.
from like 70 minutes onwards, even earlier
Yeah.
in some matches. Like he needed his rest as well.
He needed to have a good rest today, I think.
Yeah, most definitely. Richard, who is your man in the match?
I was gonna go Hulman as well, and I'm gonna stick with that choice. I'll die on that hill. Yeah, Hulman. I thought he was phenomenal in midfield as usual. Like Kevin said, he's so important on both sides of the ball, like on the defensive side, but also when they're trying to break out and kind of push forward, he's been great as well. And today was just another awesome performance from the captain, so I'll give it to him.
Yeah, fair enough. Danny, what about you? Your man in the match?
I'll be different. I'll go Gyökeres just because I always seem to evade him. But great goal today. Worked hard. Like I said a million times, they pushed him out on the wing. Many times he still got through. Other times not so much. But yeah, he got the goal. I'm gonna go with Gyökeres.
Yeah,
Chris, what about you?
I'm gonna go Gyökeres as well. I don't want to say he's played a little bit worse recently.
he's got
But
4 goals in 2
He's been
games.
lazier, in my opinion. No,
Yeah, it just.
I think he's just so tired.
which
man.
is crazy. Which is
Yeah,
crazy to
true.
say.
He
He's
might
so
be-
That's
crazy.
what a context too. 4 goals in 2 games. What a lazy bum.
He,
You know what I mean, though? You know what I mean?
When
What,
you give
99
context
high
for
intensity
that.
sprints instead of 100?
Yeah, I guess
How
Exactly.
dare
That's what I'm
you.
saying. Yeah.
Context behind that is
90 minutes
crazy.
every game. Games
Yeah.
for Sweden. Might be catching up
Yeah.
to him. Yeah, you're probably right, to be
Oh,
honest.
for sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
He went down. I mean, he does go down and almost get hurt. Like not a lot, but like every couple of games. Today was his knee.
he's been getting
I was like,
butchered.
oh, here we go. This is it. Finally,
Mhm.
we're really gonna find out how good our team is. This guy goes down for
Yeah.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm praying that it doesn't happen. But that's definitely a risk of a man who just plays every game the whole time at 100 miles per hour.
He doesn't stop. It's every game is like 100% or nothing for him.
Yeah. I'm gonna go left field. I think St. Just was my man of today, and I think he's been very good since Rui Borges come in. I think he's been very solid. And today, a few times I mentioned it, like Israel's not coming off his line, and St. Just has to react quickly, and I think he did. And his speed, man, he's just so quick. And considering how many injuries he's had, to still run that fast is just absolutely crazy. Yeah, you said it. I think he's been
to still have that type of pace after how many issues he's had is impressive.
Yeah, especially a mental issue as well. You'd assume, like, do I want to run that fast and pull a hamstring? I don't know if that's on his mind, but yeah, shout out St. Just. Before we go on to the next segment, I've got a surprise for all of you.
What?
For the next sort of 10 minutes, we're not the Strompcast.
Oh no.
We're the Quizcast.
What?
Let's
What is this? What
So-
in the world?
So
this genuinely came out of left field. I
have not told anyone, not told the guests, not told the regulars. But this one, I thought, you know what? Once a week on the podcast, we'll just do a random game quiz to see, who's got the best ball knowledge, who can perform the best.
Oh man.
And
okay.
today's one, we are doing Who Am I? Basically, football imposter. If you've ever seen it on YouTube before, basically 3 of the guys will get a football player at Sporting. Someone will get imposter, and the imposter has to try and guess who the player is. We'll do 3 rounds of it, and we'll see how it goes. This could go terribly, but we'll give it a go. I have some ground rules though at first. So no mention of names, of course. That's a given.
Yeah.
No mention of nationalities either. So, for example, get Mark said, which can't say English.
Okay.
Anything else is a go.
There goes your Phil Bob predictions, lads.
Exactly, man. But try and keep it to sort of 2 words, 3 words maximum. If you have to push for 4, I'll be the referee, I'll be the moderator. So I'll try and keep it in line. But I will send you all the messages now. Let me know.
It's going to be on Twitter.
Yes, on Twitter. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me know when you receive it.
Okay.
Got it.
Got it.
1 second. I need to find when I last messaged Richard and Chris. It's been a while, apparently.
Doesn't talk to us outside the show. We're his colleagues.
My business associates.
Yeah. Okay, I got it.
Okay, has everyone gotten their player?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Danny, I'll start with you. Give me 3 words or less on this player.
Hothead.
Okay.
Kevin.
Good crosser.
Explain the
crosser.
rules one more time. What do we have to do?
Yeah.
So basically,
I think Chris is the imposter.
Yeah.
I'm not, but
everyone is given a name apart from one person's given the word
Yeah.
imposter. You have to try, whoever the imposter is has to try and guess who it is basically. And you can only give like 3 words or less to try and describe this player so someone could figure it out, or someone can't figure it out depending on how vague you want to be, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Cool.
So we just gotta give like a couple word hints. Okay.
Yeah, just no mention of names or nationalities, and we're good. Kevin.
Good crosser. I nearly forgot what I'd said the last time.
It's okay. Yeah.
Christian.
Divisive.
Richard.
Cup winner.
Okay. We'll go around one more time.
That's
and
right.
this
Look
time,
at me like, hang on a second.
I'll start off with you, Richard, again. Give me
Okay.
3 words or less.
3 words or less. I'm trying to think because there's a lot I could say about this guy. Prone to yellow cards.
Christian.
Good finisher.
Kevin.
Hard worker.
Danny.
I can't say position either, right?
Try and avoid it if you can.
Ideally,
No, I won't. Let me think. This is gonna. I don't have anything else other than hothead. I'm trying to think. It's gonna be a sentence. It's gonna be a sentence.
Go on.
Okay.
George Jesus's go to. Sort of.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough. Do you guys want to guess the imposter? Or do you want to go around one more time?
I think
I
I
got
want to
it.
guess the imposter.
I think
Okay,
I know who it is.
Let me go
Yeah.
one by one. Danny, who do you think the imposter is?
I think it's Chris.
Kevin?
I think it's Chris.
Chris, who do you think the imposter is?
Kevin.
Richard?
I think it's Chris.
Chris, who was the player?
I don't have one.
It was Marcus
Your boy.
Acuna.
Shout out Juicebox in the chat.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
Oh, did he get? No, look at him go.
From the first guess.
As soon as he said hothead, he goes, it could only be Acuna.
Acuna.
I actually was thinking, I was like, was Bruno Cesar that aggressive? I was like,
Oh, like you had the era.
Yeah.
So you had the
Yeah.
era of Sporting. You just had the wrong guy.
Just
Hit
the,
the wrong-
the,
the
the
wrong
different
side
left
of it.
back. A different left
Yeah,
back.
you hit the wrong left back. You were there. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to send you another one as
Okay.
well. And if you are the imposter, if you get the imposter, feel free to try and guess at the player as well at the end if you want to as well. Or you can just say you're the imposter.
Sure.
So let me know when you get your messages.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to switch you around on my screen just so I go in a different order this time.
Okay.
There we go. Kevin, I'll start off with you. Give me 3 words or less.
I might be baiting myself out because it's quite generic, but I'm going to go Brunkervani. And who has
Christian?
the player will know why.
Christian?
Okay.
Lefty.
Nice. Danny?
I'm likely giving it away to the imposter. This is not his nationality. Can I say a country?
Go on.
Go on.
Cuba.
Okay. Richard?
Well liked by Sportingistas, I would say.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, we'll go around one more time. Richard, go again, please.
I've not thought this far ahead on what my
Another
second
one.
hint could be.
I will say this one is quite a difficult player to think of on the spot.
Nah, hell no.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. This is hard. I said well liked. Not decisive. Not clutch.
Nice.
Hmm.
Nice. Danny?
I almost said GOAT, but I'll tone it down a bit and say legendary.
Christian?
Cup winner. Multi-cup
And lastly,
Mm.
Kevin?
Yeah.
Can I put a hyphen in mine? Because they're kind of linked.
Go for it. You're
Yeah,
the last one
let's
anyway.
allow it.
Crosser / set piece specialist.
Ooh.
Okay.
Mm.
Do you guys have any idea? Kevin, do you have an idea of who the imposter is?
I'd guess, yeah.
Go for
Okay,
it.
does
think it's
everyone want to guess
Richard.
the imposter?
Yeah.
Okay, Christian?
I'm confused. It's between two. To me, it's between Kev or Richard, but maybe I'm the imposter. Who knows?
I'm gonna go
Maybe
Kevin.
it's me. He says, maybe
I'm gonna
I'll
go
be a
Kevin.
imposter.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna also go Kevin on this one.
Richard, who are you going for?
Wow.
I'm gonna go for Kevin.
Wow.
Wait, Rich. Wait. Rich, what was your second word again?
I'm afraid, Danny, you've given your guess. I'm afraid you've given your
He's
guess.
changed his mind mid-sentence there.
I forgot what your second word was.
Before
Undecisive. Yeah,
I-
Kevin.
Reveal the player. Can the imposter please raise their hand?
Thanks, guys.
I had a
Thank you.
feeling, bro. I had a feeling.
Sold
Thanks,
him
guys.
out.
And Richard, who do you think the player was?
Was it Brian Ruiz?
That is
Hell
a
no.
really
Oh.
good guess.
When he said
He
Bruno
Cuba.
Carvalho,
He does
God
fit.
damn it.
He does fit a lot of the.
Danny threw me
descriptors.
off with Cuba. I'm like, does he not mean Costa Rica? So I was confused.
Hell no.
I
I said it
Wow.
wasn't his nationality.
Danny screwed me up.
To
when he
be
said
fair,
Cuba.
a lot of people did
A
say
lot of
Brian
people
Ruiz
said-
as well.
Yeah. Danny said Cuba. I'm like, I think he just fucked up his
Yeah,
geography. It's
he
Costa
did- we
Rica.
did.
So that's why I'm like, oh, it's got to be Brian Ruiz because he was the guy who was well liked, but also a little bit
let me
not
remind you
clutch.
guys.
If you know, you know. So I played you guys a little bit there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
All right, we've
there we
got
go.
one
I
more
knew it
round
was
here.
you.
Hold on.
Yeah,
I
Hold on.
knew
you,
it.
Could tell,
Before we do-
you could tell
God
as soon
damn
as
it.
I got to my
Uh,
second guess. I was thinking too
let's-
long on my second one.
Let's remind the audience of the legend.
Okay, yeah, there you
Yes.
go. Yeah. I knew Kevin clocked me as soon as I said my second hint. He's like, this loser.
I was like,
Like, I don't know if I got
Absolutely
cheap.
My bad, Kev.
Okay, one
Oh,
final
dear.
round.
I should have known
I'm
that.
sending through all the messages as well.
Go for it.
Can you let me know when you've all got your message?
Yes,
not
sir.
mine.
Got it.
Okay, I'm going to switch you around again. And Richard, because you went last, I'll put you I'll put you second. There we go.
Put me in the middle.
I'll put you in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay. Chris, starting off with you. Can I have 3 words or less?
League winner.
Richard,
Fan favorite.
Danny,
Kind of want to say GOAT again. I'll say legendary again.
Okay.
okay. Kevin,
Decisive.
okay. Round 2, Kevin, back to you.
Underappreciated in some
Okay.
cases.
Danny,
I didn't think this far ahead, bro. Give me a second.
I'm just hoping you don't take what I was about to say because I thought this far ahead.
What were you gonna say? Let me see.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead. You go ahead,
What?
boss man.
No.
You go ahead, boss man.
The only word that's coming to my mind right now is clutch.
yeah, fair enough. Richard,
Streaky.
Christian,
Constantly discussed.
okay. Do you guys want to go around one more time, or do you think you've got the imposter?
I want to guess.
Okay. Is
Does
everyone
anybody-
okay with
if
guessing?
everybody else wants to hold off, though, I'm happy to hold
I
off.
think I got it too.
You think you
I'll
got it?
guess.
All right.
All right. Richard, since you said it first, who are you guessing the imposter is?
I think it's Danny.
Christian?
The fuck?
Rich.
Okay. Danny?
Oh, I was also thinking Rich.
You fucker. No, stop.
Okay. Kevin?
Richard.
Yeah,
Oh!
it is. Bro,
Can the imposters?
Sam sent me imposter, and I was like, I literally messaged him, fuck you.
You are all imposters.
Oh,
wow.
Oh,
Nice.
Man.
Who the fuck
Dude,
are
I
you
was,
guys
I was
mentioning, bro?
trying to think of the player, and I was like, wow, it's very vague.
He just went league winner, and I was like, fan favorite if he's a league winner. That's a
That's
given.
what I was saying.
So I was
That's
like,
what I was
all
like,
right, let me cook.
Wow.
First is the hardest bit and also the easiest one for that one because you could just say anyone and anyone would follow along anyway.
Okay, like, hang on.
You're
Wow.
evil, man.
You're-
That's amazing.
you're
Wasn't
a
expecting that.
psycho.
I thought you went with me again because you're like, oh, they're going to expect it to be someone that hasn't been
Someone
picked
else.
yet.
That's what I thought. He
so-
was like, he's gonna hit me. I was like, watch him hit me with a double because he's evil. No, he hit us all. You.
And then Rich thought he got exposed for a second, but then it
I
was
thought
all
I
of
got
us.
exposed at the end there.
Wow, what a
Nice.
plot twist.
I was so
Wow.
confused when you said it was you. I was like, no, it's me.
Yeah,
What are
me
you on
too. I was
about?
like, wait, what?
You can see everybody go, wait, what? Did I
I
read
love
it
it when a
wrong?
plan comes together. But yeah, that is it for the Quizcast for this episode at least.
I
We'll
like
definitely
that. Let's
do
do that
more
again.
of
I
that
like
stuff.
that.
Yeah, we'll
That's
do more
fun.
of that stuff, definitely. But unfortunately, we do have to go on some bleaker topics, and that is Vitoria 4, Sporting 4. Let me read the lineup as follows. We've got Franco Israel in goal, Diamande, St. Just, Mateus Reis, Eduardo Quaresma, Jenny, Human, Morita, Giovanni Kenda, Yokres, Trincao. Off the bench, Maxi Rougeau, Joao Simoes, Harder, and Fresneda. Yokres, of course, with a hat-trick. Trincao with the clutch time equalizer. You know what, Richard, I'll start off with you. What were your overall thoughts about this game?
Oh, this game just hurt. This was painful. This was every bad memory of Sporting coming back to haunt us. It felt like a dream start, like 1-0 up early. I was actually finishing work, and I came out and I saw my dad in the living room, and I was like, "Oh, they're winning." He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Well, this won't last." And then I went back to work, and then like 5 minutes later, I could hear Guimaraes score. I'm like, "Yeah, I knew that wouldn't last." Jokeres
So it's your
decided-
fault, basically.
Yeah, well, I just know this team better than they know themselves. Jokeres hat trick, like crazy, all great goals too. You felt at 3-1, you felt comfortable. You thought, okay, there's they've got a 2-goal cushion, which I think was, at least in theory, was going to cause less risk. But Guimaraes, to their credit, I mean, they're a good side too. They did not stop. They kept pushing. I felt like they were winning a lot of the battles for loose balls, especially in the midfield. Yeah, and you felt as soon as they made it 3-2, you just felt like the game was going to get away from Sporting. And then it very quickly did. Like, credit to Guimaraes, like 3 quick goals and minutes apart. It was just a circus game, probably the game of the season, especially if you're a neutral. Credit to Trincao to salvage a point. That was the least celebrated point / goal I think I've ever had. I think we all put in the group chat, like, celebrated for a second, then was disgusted. with how
All
everything
Campbell
went.
vibes.
Yeah, it was just not a fun time. 3-1 game, you got to be wrapping it up. Like, you got to have that in the bag. It's brutal defending, just silly mistakes that cost them. Israel does them no favors either on some of the goals. I think he could have done better. I feel like this was a game where we saw the best quality of the team and also the very worst qualities out of this team. If you were to sum it up kind of in a nice little bow. You saw a lot of the fun stuff, the stuff that makes this team fun to watch, that makes that so exciting, but then you saw all the stuff that's kind of haunted them, especially the last month or two. Just the sloppy mistakes, no energy, no sense of urgency, poor decision making, all that just felt like it came to bite them, especially in the second half.
Yeah, most definitely. I'll go quickly next. You mentioned Franco Israel, a very poor game from him. I don't remember last time we saw lower than a 4 for a player on goal points. That's
not since the Adan days. I don't. We saw a bad one. I feel like in the toss of Portugal last year, like in the final. It didn't say
when they're like
their game.
when they're like red cards, like you can understand, but for a player full 90 minutes and get through,
Who got no cards? Yeah,
even Frangus, you understand, like his was just
like nowhere to be found.
Yeah,
Frank Israel.
Frangus, for real.
Yeah, just a poor game from him. I think a poor game from just the team in general. Excluding Gyökeres from that, of course, I thought obviously it was fantastic. I just felt like there was a bit of lack of energy in this game for me. I feel like they didn't. It's such a cliche saying, but it felt like they didn't really want it. And Vitoria came in, maybe because I see their former coach on the other side, they have that more incentive to win. And I'll give credit. The Vitoria fans as well were fantastic, loud the whole game, supporting their team the whole way through.
Near full stadium, it seemed like at least
27,000 out of like a 30K capacity. Yeah, like crazy. Good for them.
Yeah, they were very good, and credit to the Guimarães team as well. They were fantastic. I arguably thought maybe they deserved a bit more than they got, especially just considering that Trincao sort of last ditch shot. I thought it went wide, to be honest, but then it goes in. And I'll admit, I did celebrate. I got up and was like, yeah. And then I remembered the scoreline. I was like, oh, shit.
I saw the score. I went, let's go. And I'm like, I hate this team. And I sat back down in silence.
Yeah. There's a few guys in this team. I hate to stick it on one, but I really don't like Mateus Reis at left back. He just isn't someone that I enjoy. I just don't enjoy watching him play football. He can't cross, really. He does has this like one moment per game where he delivers either a great cross or he goes on a great run, and then it's just nothing for the rest of the game. And I don't know. I just didn't feel like, I don't know. I just don't really like him that much, to be honest. That being said, when Maxi came on, I didn't think he did much better either. But again, I think it's just a full bad team performance, minus Gyökeres, of course, getting the hat-trick in that game. Trincao as well, I actually thought played pretty okay. I thought he was very good at pressing and running, keeping up the tempo, and obviously getting the equaliser as well. But yeah, just a sort of dreadful team performance. Luckily, we escaped, I think, with the point. But yeah, Kevin, what about your thoughts on this game?
Well, if I gave you my real thoughts on this game, I'd probably get banned from the show forever. But
no, doubt that.
Oh no.
Oh, you don't know what I'd
do
say.
you even watch this show?
I just compared stats to bikinis, brother. I think you're good, man.
I almost called for someone to invade Alcuchet a couple weeks ago.
There you go.
That's kind of where I would go, but yeah. Look, it's growing pains with Hojbjerg at the end of the day. I mean, we're not going to expect perfection from day one. We've seen progress, but I think we've seen how fragile emotionally that this team was and still is. The fact that they cannot see out a game like this, it's very, very concerning. As much as the attitude levels do seem to have improved, the confidence of some of the players seem to have had a little boost. Look, at the end of the day, there's not much tactically that we can even get into, because at the end of the day, it is more of an issue for the psychological side. Tactically, I did think that we went too deep too early. Obviously, the gap between sections has already been mentioned on this podcast, and it does continue to have an effect. The press is not seamless. In construction phases, we seem to mix between a 4 and a 2 in front and 4 and a 1. Both of them don't really work because it's dependent on the other 4 players that are in the sector above. And obviously, if you have players like Sendrust, he's done all right, but at the end of the day, he doesn't have the freedom that Inacio would have. Doesn't have the quality on the ball, particularly in his passing range, and he also doesn't have the action range because he's limited to his right foot. His left isn't that strong. So you put that together, and it's not going to be seamless. We are going to have tough periods, and this just simply wasn't good enough, even with all the issues with stamina. So, yeah, it wasn't a great showing. Out of all of these players, for negative and positive reasons, we could go in and point every single one of them out, because I thought Morita was quite positive. What I don't like him doing the role that he was doing a lot of times under Amorim, which was pretty much acting as another attacker, getting forward, and he's not that natural in that position. When he's a little bit deeper and you can see the whole game, you really use that intelligence and the fact that he's both-footed. I think that suits him a lot more. I think this system will end up benefiting him. Boris is a big fan of him, so he was a big plus, and obviously he's going to be quite important at this stage because he's quite level-headed. Kenda, I think he deserved those 2 assists, really, because he's in his most productive phase of the season, but he's less comfortable than ever. I mean, he's severely impacted by the fact that he can't cut into his right foot, and he seems too intent on coming into a zone that he's not comfortable in actually working in. So he's doing his best, and that's real credit to the job that he's been trying to do. Trincão has needed a rest for a while. I've liked some of his performances. He's had moments as always. He's intelligent enough to play that role while Pot is not around, but it's never the same thing, never will be. And he doesn't have the gas tank, and another one that doesn't is Quaresma. At the end of the day, you can go on as many runs as you want, but if you need to chase after the ball after you go on those runs because you can't even release the ball at the right moment, you're going to be a liability at the end of the day. So, it's a lot of it's just growing pains at the end of the day because Quaresma will get into the habits. Quenda might get a little bit more natural in that sort of zone. Jenny is a tough one because his role asks for him to forget the last mistake he made and go for it again. So he will be a frustrating figure. At the end of the day, he's the most explosive winger that we have at the moment, even considering Kenda. So his role is still important, even if the things that he's doing aren't really coming off. Defensively, probably make this my last point. I'm not that big of a fan of Diomande and Centrus together just because naturally they will have lesser games. It happens to everyone. But Diomande and Centrus as a partnership, they're both very over-aggressive at times because they can compensate it with their physicality. And that is a disaster waiting to happen if you've got players that will have their off days, their lacks of concentration, and you don't have someone that's a little bit more sensible, less emotional, because Diomande has seemed to have a little bit of a hot streak in him recently. I don't know about it. I'd like to see someone a little bit more level-headed, a little bit glued to the defensive line, a little bit more controlled, than having 2 players that are more likely just to step out and go instead. Maybe a player like Inácio and maybe the bust if he can get his shit together when he's on the ball. So, I'm not overly concerned based on this game alone. Tactically, the issues will be there. If there's evolution in the following games, that is fine. Obviously, it's not from one day to the next that you get your confidence all back and everything is seamless. But, we cannot go from 3-1 up to potentially losing a game again, a la Porto. And it seemed like it served, and this is in retrospect, which is a lot easier to comment on a game, but it seemed like it did serve as a little bit of a wake-up call to some players that were taking it just a little bit too easy in controlling the rest of the game, that it was in our hands, and we can never accept a result like this. 4-4, 5-4, or even narrow 4-3 win, it still isn't good enough.
Yeah, facts. Before I move on to Danny Richard, I've got one more question for you, Kevin. Another player who hasn't played since the 30th of November, and someone who a lot of people have been, wanting to come in, especially on those stretches where, 80 minutes gone in the game, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and that's Marcus Edwards. Do you think his time at Sporting is over now? Do you think, he's moving in January, or do you think in the summer maybe? But is there room for him under Rui Borges?
God, his time certainly isn't now.
Yeah, I mean, there's room for him if he wants there to be room. It's not a quality issue. As much as he has his issues defending and he's not the most intense presser, we all know that. Look, he can do the role that Trincão does, and we can facilitate him if he demands to be, and whether the quality that he brings justifies that. But it doesn't, because he doesn't want to. The competitive mentality is not there. So from the moment that he does not give any sort of guarantees, and he was never a player of guarantees. He was a player of a moment, here or there. He's not evolved in any way, shape or form. He's a player that either he receives to feet in the pockets or he's invisible. And you cannot justify a player who does not constantly produce. And if he doesn't want to improve and bring his best, then we should have sold him a lot earlier, because it was clear to see that he was never going to give that step up. From the beginning, Amorim was saying that the attitude is the problem. If we're sitting here today and we're still talking about whether Edwards can or can't, yeah, I think we've overdone the investment, and we're not going to get as much back as perhaps we could have done a season, 2 seasons ago, and it's a shame, because Edwards could be a lot better than he is, but he doesn't want to be. So it's on him.
It's he's got all the tools to be successful, but he just doesn't want to put it together. That's a him problem.
Yeah, and how many players can we say that about, who've gone on to have not wasted careers, but, look at guys like, for example, Ricardo Quaresma. He had all the tools to succeed, and, he chose elsewhere. And you can name, in any sport, players like that, and he hasn't adapted. I do really like Marcus Edwards, but I think the writing has been on the wall since João Pereira left. Even, João Pereira was the one who started him the first, 2 games, and then, didn't play him again.
Immediately got bored of him and said, "Ew, no."
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Chris, what were your overall thoughts on this game?
Yeah, definitely the worst. He just didn't save anything. He just didn't do us any favors, Israel. Probably his worst game in a while, but his performances are definitely, I would say, trending down from when he first became the full-time starter, I would say. So that was definitely a reminder of the reality of the situation in net. And while the whole seems covered at times, it's not really, it's kind of a shoddy, little cover. It's not the greatest thing, and stuff will fall through every now and again. It was incredibly, I felt like we really did stop playing after the 60th minute. Just completely, just like, I mean, there's taking your foot off the gas. I understand that. Like, that's always going to slightly happen.
I mean, in the grand context thing, it's not funny, but just in terms of, who we're talking about, that was doing the rounds, and that did make me chuckle. But anyway, sorry, Chris, Karen.
Yeah, it just, obviously it's not good enough, but it was really remarkable almost how stark it was. I mean, it's a new manager, right? You don't want to see that. I mean, again, it's against his former club as well. I don't know. It was a really, really bad to see that happen. And then honestly, like, it feels like the fact that Trincão was even able to pull one back and tie it up again and get us a point, it just honestly doesn't even feel deserved. And like, for about 3 seconds, I was like, let's go. This is actually a decent result, all things considered, because, like, yeah, we totally didn't deserve anything out of this game. And prior to, like, the fourth goal probably went in like the 80th minute, I want to say. There's probably like 10 minutes left. In those 10 minutes, we didn't do anything. And then we get one half chance from Trincão in the 93rd or whatever, and it curves so much. I literally thought it was wide.
It literally does one of these.
It curved so much and just ended up in the net, and I was like, wow, like, that was just totally undeserved. But who knows, at this point, will end up being important. What it could have been if it was 3. Obviously, we dropped points here famously in 2015-16, 3-3 away.
This had those vibes a little bit.
Obviously, like, we're not commanding the table like we sort of were, I guess you could say, more in that season. But it definitely was. I don't remember if that was before or after the União de Madeira draw, but that really kind of.
That was after. That was the week before. That was like a week or two before the derby.
That was the week before, yeah. Because we were still 3 points up, and then Yeah.
So
we were 2 points up, and William Carvalho was like, "Oh, we go so those points, so we're fine." And then we
And
shit
then
the
Benfica
bed with the
leapfrogged
Alvalade.
us.
yeah. So I mean, I don't want it to be a replay of that, but it was kind of tough to not.
Damn, Sam was
That
ready,
was
bro.
wow.
quick. Holy.
Yeah, I think I might have seen that this weekend. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
similar to that. Obviously, yeah, we're not commanding like we were in that season, but I
Yeah,
mean,
different
we're
moment.
still in first going into the weekend. So
the Porto's got a game in hands.
and now
technically.
Porto has a game in hand on us. Benfica blew there.
Nacional, ole.
Who knows? But
Huh?
We trust Nacional.
Do we?
Huh?
We trust the team from
No, we
Madeira.
don't.
I trust the
No, we
fog.
don't.
That's the only thing.
Yeah,
about
I was
gonna say, who
Madeira
trusts
that I
Nacional?
trust.
I trust
Nacional.
trust
the
the
It's
team
literally
from
their best asset is the fog at this point.
That's it.
And the
Fog
manager. The
and-
manager's good.
Fog
but-
and
yeah,
monsoons.
yeah.
That's it. That's all they got to offer tactically.
Porto should have had a red, but never mind.
True.
Yeah. They couldn't
Go
see
on,
it
Danny.
because of the fog. It's
Yeah,
okay.
they couldn't see it.
Yeah,
The
it
ref
was too
couldn't see
foggy.
it.
You couldn't see it, pal.
That's true. That's true. I can see it at home, but yeah, you're right. The VAR.
Badly,
Go on,
but
Danny.
yeah.
Yeah, badly, but still.
Yeah, barely, but we saw it.
But yeah, I'm not going to harp on too much. This is just the point that I was making earlier in terms of the tactics just not being there yet. Again, building out from the back, especially in the second half. In contrast between Guimarães and Benfica to today with Porto, I like that the first half, like in Benfica, like at Guimarães, we started off well, 2-1. Maybe I'm being harsh. I feel like Israel should have done a lot better on that free kick. He goes, he stops,
Yes.
and then he goes again.
Yeah, it's the
don't know.
hesitation. Yeah,
Yeah, I seen Betu play a little bit on these legend games. I know it's smaller nets, but I'd have Betu right now, currently at 40 something, than
That's a
Israel
statement.
currently. But anyways, I felt he could have done better. Bruno Varela wasn't much better either. I mean, that first goal, okay, it takes a deflection, but still near post. The second goal, another Kenda assist, but he does play it a bit too wide for Gyökeres, but still good on Gyökeres. Still gets it, smashes it home like Gyökeres would. The third goal at 3-1, we score a beautiful goal. I forget who it was that chips it. I think it's Maxi. Morita just heads it on. Gyökeres slots it in. I'm thinking, we're all good.
we're cooking.
For us to lose that, and then the 4-3. I mean, I'm with Rui Borges there again. Communicator. I love him as a communicator. I love him as a leader of this team. No team that wants to be champion blows this 3-1, regardless if it's Guimarães away or not. And I think before the game starts, we take a draw at Guimarães. I'm not sure we take a 4-4, knowing that.
I think the manner of the draw is what
is what leaves the sour
got
taste in
people
our mouth.
down.
Exactly.
100%.
And
Yeah.
it had to, like Chris was saying, it had to be a Trincão banger just for us to salvage a point
Just
here.
to save our skins like a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. The substitutions were too late again. I hope to see some differences here or some changes here. It's giving me Ruben Amorim vibes. Remember when Ruben Amorim was very stubborn in his substitutions?
Oh, he just waits till like the 85th minute to be like, I'm gonna throw a dude now.
So exactly. So it might happen there. My last point: the guy who scored the 4-3, Canadian. His name is Dieu merci. This guy's name is God thank you. So of course this bozo would score the 4-3
dude
against
had
us.
to score.
My only question is, when Canada merges with the United States, is Pochettino our manager? Is it Jesse Marsh? I think I'd rather Jesse Marsh, Chris. I don't know what you think.
That's a nice little run so far.
You know what I mean?
Maybe we're winning the world, buddy.
Manager.
We're winning the World Cup.
Facts.
And I reserve the right to change that to retract that statement at any given time.
No, listen. I said we were winning the World Cup when it was just Canada 2 years ago. So
you can't support Ishtaku after today, though. Can't do that.
No. I want him to go to. I want him to go to AC Milan. I want him to go.
Yeah,
to
here's the thing, though.
I can't believe he tried to flick it over St. Juste's head like that.
He almost
pulled it off, though.
And Israel would not come off his line again. Just
Still,
move,
yeah.
man.
Still was like, I'm gonna stay right here.
Yeah,
you've got this.
Even on the that's
Right.
what I wanted to mention on the fourth goal with the Canadian Angolan. Israel could have easily left his line and collected the ball. Okay, Mateus Reis gets smoked. Big body, right? Fair enough. He shouldn't have gotten smoked. He shouldn't have gotten outpaced from him, out-muscled from him. Mateus Reis just a few weeks ago was playing as a center back, right? But with that being said, Israel comes off like 3 centimeters off his line. He can punch it. He can grab it. His only save was one that I think it was Thiago Silva shot from like 40 yards, and he still carried it away.
Gimme.
Ridiculous. So maybe with a better goalkeeper, we win this game. We don't blow at least 3 goals right towards the end of the game, but still disappointing. I'm with Louis Barge when he said a team that wants to be champion, you don't blow a 3-1 lead.
You got to have that game.
You got to have a bit more cojones. I've seen this team have a lot more cojones away from home than they did at this game, and I think that proved the difference. They were scared. Maybe they thought the job was done. I'm not sure, but at least it was a good wake-up call that even after the euphoria of the week before, things can change in with the drop of a hat or whatever the saying is. So
he said it himself. They weren't the best players in the world after Benfica. They're not the worst after Vitoria.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's a process.
Exactly.
It's
100%.
We're 3 games in at the end of the day.
And at the end of the day, it's still not a loss. And like I said, I'll take a draw away at Guimarães all day, every day. It's just the manner that it came.
Yeah,
leaves you with a sour taste in your mouth.
Yeah, if they finish like 1-1 or 2-2, then you're probably not overly upset. But yeah, they blew a 2-goal lead.
Definitely. We've showed things that we can be encouraged by at the end of the day. So
exactly.
And it's been better from before. So as long as it carries on improving, we can't get too bad on it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Definitely. I'm not going to ask you man of the match because I feel like it's very straightforward and obvious that
Israel.
it wasn't really an us.
Franco.
Kovacevic, who was on the bench.
Edwards. Oh, wait.
Clean sheet.
Oh, wait.
No, yeah, we'll move on to the league predictions because there has been some changes. But let me go to the most latest one, which was of course, the semi-final versus Porto. Chris does not put in a prediction. Danny, man, walk us through the 5-2 prediction there.
I want to know your thoughts.
Sorry, what?
Hear me out.
Yeah, bro, when I told you, I laughed out loud when I saw this prediction as I was putting mine in.
Hear me out. Eventually, we're gonna go to the leader. We're gonna go to the leaderboard. You're gonna see the distance. So this is just me chasing first and foremost, just in case there's multiple goal scorers, especially at Goalkeeper's brace. That's huge points on me.
Bro, next game is 11-0. He's gonna guess every single goal.
Every single player on the team.
He's gonna start guessing like goalie goal.
This is called strategy. 2, it was just 4-4. So I'm thinking, okay, Porto's gonna smash us in terms of scoring some, but I still think we're going to beat Porto. So I'm going to also say we're going to smash Porto as well. So I was just feeling it. And I thought Harder would start. And if Harder starts, maybe he gets a goal or something, So
well, like maybe if I start, I get a goal.
Hold on, let me see. Wait, so I got 2 points. Richard got 2-1. He also got 2 points. Sam only got 1 point, and he's What are you talking? What?
Well, hang on. When we get to the leaderboard, you're like, oh, never
chill.
Yeah. You're gonna show the leaderboard the disparity of points, and you're like,
Richard's done well guessing Yokwes. I mean, it is a tap in for Yokwes, really. But
it's like the free space and bingo. Like you got to guess at least him and like one other dude.
I just thought, you know what? Maybe if a corner, St. Juice will get something. I thought it was going to be a very.
Do you think we score corners?
When's the last time?
We don't do that around here anymore.
The last time we scored a corner was the Jenny goal against Benfica in like April.
Wrong. It was St. Juice versus Porto in the Taça de Portugal final. That's why I was thinking of it.
So in May, a whole month later.
Who are we playing today? I'm sorry. Who are we playing today? I was just going for a bit of a replay. But oh well. You live and learn. Let's go to the tape. Actually, we can go to the Guimarães one as well before.
Do we have to?
We do.
Well, people did get points, so we kind of have to in these parts.
So, no one predicted the correct result, obviously. But yes.
2
points for me, Rich.
Oh, yeah, no, we got the 2 point. I was like, wait a
Yokwes and
second.
Trincao.
Yeah. I thought I'd give a point for the win. I'm like, no, we didn't. No, I'm an idiot. No, we got the score still. That's why.
Yeah. And
Wait,
Danny did it
I
wrong.
meant to do the 5-2 on Gimenez and the 1-0 today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
My bad.
Well, game's a game.
Technology, I'm the oldest one here. Technology is hard, man.
And Chris,
Imagine
unfortunately, gets 0 as well. Let's go
Hate
to
to
the
see
top
it.
of the
Rough couple
leaderboard.
weeks for Chris the last little bit, man.
Oh wow.
Bro, you've McFallen, Chris.
20
Yeah.
points off the top. Hate to see it.
Bro.
Let's be honest, Richard has won already, unless some miracle happens.
It
So
would
it's a
be
race for
only-
second.
No, there's
My
a solution.
5-0, my 5-0, my
Yeah.
11-0 is coming, bro.
No.
There's a
What needs to
solution.
happen is you get rid of Richard mid-season, and then Ron Pereira comes in and takes over those points. And you're fine.
I like this.
Let him take over my predictions and see how he does.
Exactly. Sorted.
Send Richard out on
So
loan.
what would be the equivalent? We got to get someone from the Sporting group chat. I nominate G for that.
I was gonna say,
Oh god.
I have a name in mind.
Make my predictions now.
Hat-trick, Fresneda.
What's your prediction, G? For the hat-trick, Pimba.
Hat-trick,
Every-
they last 6-0
Yeah.
every game.
The Bass with 3 goals and an assist.
In his
Yes.
defense, he hates Franco Israel, so it'll probably be 3-1
Loss
Israel
every
Franco.
game.
Yeah.
1-3.
6-6 then.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, that's it for predictions. I did mention it has been silly season in terms of transfers at Sporting, especially today. Just today alone has been
There's
absolutely
been a couple
crazy.
weird ones today. I saw. Yeah.
Yeah, starting off with Rui Silva from Real
I'm
Betis.
not mad about that one.
I like it.
I can't say I've watched too much of La Liga, so I don't know. But I guess it's probably better than what we have. I suppose anything really is better than what
I
we have. at
can't
the moment.
imagine that they're thrilled with him if they're willing to let him
If they're
go.
willing to say like, "Here you go," yeah.
But he's
Especially
the starter. I was looking at the stats, thinking, "Oh, maybe he's coming off the bench nowadays." No,
Ah,
he's the
he's a
starter.
starter.
So
Yeah.
Especially when you look at this as well, a swap between Betis and
Yeah.
Sporting for
Crazy.
Kovacevic
What are they
and
cooking?
Rui Silva. So
This is the
Reece-
type of thing you do on like FIFA.
yeah,
yeah.
Like
I think Rui Silva is coming towards sort of early 30s.
30,
if
I
he's
He's
not
think.
30.
already.
Yeah.
29 or 30. Yeah.
So
I think
maybe
it's
there's
contract
probably-
issues as well. His contract ends into
That's what I'm
2026. So I don't know.
Mm.
Something seems to have gone behind the scenes there that we're not seeing.
Mm.
Betis, they've got Adrian. They've got another goalkeeper that they've given a few games to in La Liga. I don't know, but yeah, it doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence that all of a sudden he's just
Yeah.
shipped out.
Yeah,
Especially in
definitely.
January. Yeah.
It just feels like, you know what, he's a Portuguese goalkeeper, get him in, which is fine, I suppose. Better than what we have
Yeah.
right now.
I do
Yeah.
still think he would be a bit of an upgrade over who we have now for sure. Just
Yeah.
because he brings top league experience and as a starter too. I will add, like he was a Betis starter for a time, like won a cup with them. He's had some call ups to the national team, hasn't really got much of a chance to play, but look at our manager. Why would he get a chance to play? Yeah, a bit of an upgrade, not like a crazy upgrade, but like not the worst thing. I would rather, if we were going maybe after someone a little younger, but like a Ricardo Value, my guy old Richard from
Yeah.
Firenze would have been a fun one, but apparently the asking price is a little steep for Sporting's liking. It's in and around 8 million euros apparently.
It's double what we'd get Rui Silva for, supposedly.
Yeah, so I think if you're looking at economically, I kind of get that, like for sure.
Mhm.
Kovacic to Firenze, give it to him. Fuck it. One for
I mean,
one
yeah.
for one.
Gonna miss all those old Richard jokes if he actually doesn't sign for us. But oh well.
Old Richard.
Well, if he does sign for us, we're getting so many.
Yeah, definitely. The amount of photoshops you'd be in, Richard, just to
Oh,
you know,
just all of
Yes.
us until
Any
until
bad
they get-
performance, I'm out
until he has like a Franco. It's like, you piece of shit.
Mhm.
the raid of Guimarães has apparently begun, but Alberto, apparently, My Football says, that he's signed for Sporting. Record says Benfica have offered money. He's also been interested by Porto as well. Right back,
man.
so comes in, obviously working with Rui Borges. I guess that means Esgaio and Fresneda's time is up at this point as well. Fresneda has been linked away to Como, who is managed by Cesc Fabregas. And I don't know
Valencia
if you guys
as
have
well.
Valencia also never go away. Like Valencia rumor has been around.
They just always
for
kind
a
of
few
they've been
weeks
hanging
now.
around. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't know if you've seen Como's team. They've got a bunch of, random guys in there. But like
Not Balotelli. What's the white guy? White Italian striker. Bellotti.
Bellotti.
There.
Yeah.
Varane
Yeah,
signed, and I think he rescinded.
They're like
Pepe-
I feel like they're doing a real life FM manager, which is who's all the free
Yeah.
agents that are available. Let's just sign those guys for a year and see what
Just
happens.
vibes. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
just
this is all
because
vibes, guys.
it's fun. Pepe Reina, guy I recognize
Pepe
Those
there.
Reina.
guys who are free right now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Alberto Moreno.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the Fabregas.
We need a left back.
influence.
Sergio Roberto. I didn't know he was there. That's a
Holy
mad one. Yeah, so we've got a bunch of random guys. Patrick Catrone, Bellotti you mentioned.
Oh,
Yeah.
And soon to be Avon Fresneda. Apparently with an
Potentially,
option to buy of 10 million.
After
So
today, would you sanction that?
if you've got someone coming in, then yeah, I don't think there's much.
Yeah,
point in
if you have
keeping Fresneda around.
someone who you plan to fill in that role, I suppose, if that's what you want to call it.
Fair enough.
Then
Yeah,
if you don't have any backup and it's just Isgayu, then fuck no.
St. Juice.
St. Jude's facts.
Juiced or Kadejma, I guess.
That's
Yeah.
it. It's still good to ship him out whilst he's maintaining somewhat of his value. And for Alberto, he's
100%.
the better profile. He's better
Yeah.
offensively.
Younger.
And Fresneda doesn't look like he'll ever give us the guarantees we need there. So
Agreed.
yeah, it seems like it's a smart move ish.
I also just think we need to focus on the left side too. We haven't played with fullbacks in pretty much 4 years, and especially this last year, Ruben Amorim was basically plugging in wingers as wingbacks.
Wingbacks.
Yeah.
So
But that's it. You've got
He
more
loves
than
doing
enough
that.
options. Just none of them are natural. Reis offensively
Exactly.
is bad. Defensively, he's got games where he's as bad as he is offensively.
Mhm.
You've
Yeah.
got Nuno Sancho, who's not perfect in that sort of system. He's better.
I don't think Nuno
last
Sancho will be
five.
I don't
great-
think Nuno
a
Sancho's
good-
going to be long for this team if they stick with the
Probably.
four at the back.
Yeah.
But then you've also got Inacio, who could probably do what Quaresma is doing
too.
a little bit
A
to a
little.
less effect. And
That's what
Maxi, if I see him defending in a back four again, I might have to rip out my eyes. So
He wasn't horrible. He wasn't horrible, but he wasn't.
He wasn't good. He wasn't good either. That's just
100%.
that. He wasn't horrible.
in
He
a
wasn't good.
back four, I do never
back
want to
four,
see him
No,
again.
I don't want to see him in a back
Let's
four.
leave him with the memories of Savinho against City and never
Yeah,
put him back
and
there
that's
because that seems like a one-off for now at least.
Yeah. That was his
Yeah.
Arthur. That was his Arthur. What's his fucking nuts?
Arthur
his
Gomes
name?
against
Arthur
Spurs.
Gomes
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then considering how bad City have been, not really, something to
Well,
look
it's
Not
back
that
on.
impressive now in
No.
hindsight.
No,
for
upon
real.
reflection, it wasn't that much. I just wonder what we're going to do with Travas because that's a very good option for both sides.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe if we Portugal go there, we'll see. But I think we're too deep of a squad for him to look at the kids right now.
No,
Yeah.
he's doing a good season at Still, and even 1-on-1, he's got a
Mhm.
lot of dribbles completed. Maybe,
Oh, for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's a different
I think
type of
he'll
profile we have there.
evaluate. Yeah, I think he'll evaluate that type of player more in the off season when he has time to actually
Yeah,
kind of sit
100%.
down and evaluate. I think right now he's kind of been thrown into the fire, and they've just said figure it out and kind of keep the ship steady and try to salvage anything you can from the season, and not just don't get embarrassed. Essentially, I feel like.
Yeah. And it seems like Hugo Vian and Verandas are backing him financially as of now,
Good.
especially in January, where they're looking at, a consecutive
Hey,
league
we'll
title.
Consecutive league
Yeah.
I mean-
title. They're
It could come with some sales that we're not looking at.
Yeah,
right
oh,
now.
yeah,
Yeah,
they
that's
don't know
true
about.
too. That's
Tell
true.
someone.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I look at the team. I think, Fresneda we've mentioned. Edwards we've mentioned a little bit as well
yeah.
on the way out. I don't think, maybe wishful thinking, but I don't think any of the main starters leave in January.
I think if they got like a really good offer, they would at least have to think about it. Like if they get an offer that's gonna almost blow you away, maybe. I just don't know if anyone's gonna do that in January.
Let me
Anything
also say-
close to release clauses, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that we
Yeah,
know
that's
this.
what I'm
We
thinking.
know this board by now. they will consider it.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
they'll
we're-
at least think about it and go, oh, maybe.
I think
And
we're
when I say
also
consider it, they'll probably accept it.
Yeah.
I think we're
Probably.
also lucky that United put in a decent performance against Liverpool, because if they got smashed like everybody was thinking they would,
Oh
then
man.
the panic button starts to get pressed, and my man is leaving. I'm fairly confident of it.
Do you
Edwards
think you'd
leave?
go to United right now, though?
100%.
I
don't
think
think
if it was
Without
another
a-
club, I think
Without
if
a
it was,
shadow of a doubt.
I think if it was another club, maybe.
I
I know
think if,
Amorim's there, but I don't know if I'm a player. I would, if I'm.
I
just
think
the
if-
Gyökeres,
Yeah,
I
but
don't know that I'd
Richards-
go.
if Victor Gyökeres' last name isn't Gyökeres and it's like Silva, Da Costa, I would love it if it was Saldanha. Maybe he doesn't leave in January. But the fact that
Yeah.
it's Gyökeres and he grew up in
He could.
Sweden, and 2 years ago he didn't even think about playing for Sporting, he leaves Sporting for United, in my opinion.
No,
Even,
it's simple.
Even United, the shit that they are
Stability
right
isn't everything in life, and the
That's
Manchester
fair.
United train only comes once.
now. Exactly.
It's okay to
I
miss.
mean,
You know what? It's okay
Maybe
to miss your train
twice.
sometimes.
Listen, João Pereira knows that too. The Sporting train only comes once after.
He's never coming again.
Yeah,
No
it's
way,
not coming.
no way,
It's not
dude,
coming anytime
replace-
soon.
No way, do you replace a manager within a month?
Still suffering.
Listen,
It's fair.
you can say about the Man United train, and I get it. But when you're so heavily linked away as Gyökeres has been, to likes of Arsenal's, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, you think he's not going to try and hold out to the summer to those teams instead of a Man United?
For
Like,
sure,
I would
especially
at least try to
right
get a better
now.
team.
But let me also
If you
tell
look at it on
this.
paper, they're not in Europe next year as of now. Obviously, they
Mm-hmm.
could win the Europa League and maybe they can, go on a great run. You look at teams like Arsenal, like I mentioned, the latest rumor is to Bayern Munich. Is he really going to go to Manchester United? Now, obviously, money plays a part, and Man United could probably pay him, tenfold. But to me, I just don't see it right now. In the summer, sure, because clean slate, everything like that. But in January, I personally don't see it.
I agree. But at the same time, I was saying the same thing with Matheus Nunes, thinking he's not gonna go to Wolves. It's Wolves. It's not.
But he
Sporting's
went to
way
Wolves.
more. But then the release clause was paid. He got a contract of how much more he got compared to what he would get at Sporting. And again, I'm only saying that we're lucky that they tied and they put in a decent performance and at least scored 2 goals, because if that was a 5-0 battering at Anfield, I think Amorim says, listen, I can't work with these bozos. At Sporting, I'm sorry. I did say I'm not going to come here in January, but I need this guy right now or else I'm sacked. And all of this was for nothing.
I
In
mean,
my
he's definitely
opinion,
Reading Sporting at some point. Like we all know.
Oh, yeah, we
summer,
already know.
summer. Diamante's gone. Inaciu's gone. Gyökeres is there, and maybe Kenta.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's right now. Maybe it's just because I'm biased towards Sporting. I feel like he would just say, look, in the summer, yeah, sure, but right now,
Yeah, I agree.
I'm all right here. Obviously, if release clause gets activated, different story. Then maybe
That's
all I'm
a different
saying.
discussion.
I also don't think Man United are paying that in January. Even if they lost to Liverpool,
No.
I think right now they're
They
too
seem
unstable.
broke.
of a
To be
club.
fair, these guys.
No
are
one
like,
paid it in the summer. I don't think they're going to pay
Yeah.
it this
Yeah.
January.
In
It's going to stay for
mid-season, yeah.
next summer.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's Veranda. It doesn't need to be 100. It could be 65.
Yeah,
and
that's the
he's-
problem.
It could
Release
be more,
clauses are
but-
always funny in window because they're not always active. So if they
Mhm.
pay
And-
close to the value,
He might. Listen,
Yeah.
we sold Bruno for how much in January? It's a possibility. It could
But
happen.
also, if Man United come in, then everyone who is on that list for Gyökeres, so the Bayerns, the
Is going to
PSGs,
also probably come in and say, well,
yeah,
hang
which
on a
only
second.
guarantees that he's going to leave in January, though. Is all I'm
Well,
saying.
yeah, definitely. But I think Man United are at the bottom of that list right now.
yeah, it depends. It depends.
I-
We
And then
don't
on-
know the capacity of
depends
these
on-
clubs to go for it.
It also depends on how much he values his relationship with Amorim, because it seems like from the outside looking in, it seems like he does, and it
Yeah.
seems like he might want to link up with him again.
Who the
And
hell
Kovac
is his
was
agent?
his
Fucking
best
Wayne
friend after the
Lineker?
Benfica game. It's fine.
Yeah, true.
Who was his agent? This guy looks like Wayne Lineker.
Sure.
I mean,
bro.
Who is this dude?
He looks a bit like
Again,
Dave Bautista.
This is only adding on to my point. If you have an agent that looks like this, Do you not think you can leave at any
Anytime.
given time? Do you think this agent gives a flying fuck if this guy plays for Sporting Club Portugal or
If you
fucking-
ask me,
Oh,
like,
he's going to be pushing for it more than Vitoria.
Exactly.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Look at
Yeah,
If
that's
you
a
ask me to,
payday
like-
that'll change your life.
if you were
Yeah.
to say like design an agent from scratch, I draw him like that. I design.
low-key, yeah, 'cause
exactly
if
like
I'm
that.
Told
looking
AI,
at his stuff, though-
give me a shifty sports agent. This is the
That looks like a
image that comes
Casio
out.
watch. Those are like $100 Ray-Bans at best. I can find that shirt at H&M. I can find those pants at H&M.
I can find those pants at Old Navy.
He doesn't need more money. It's fine.
Yeah, it's only money.
Yeah.
Someone will print more of it.
Dave Bautista.
Facts.
Timu Wayne Lineker, who's Timu Gary Lineker.
I believe that is it for transfer news and news in general, unless
Yeah.
any of you guys have got something to add. Anything that I've missed?
Nothing on my end.
Yeah,
We rambled on long enough, I think, today.
Yeah.
yeah, most definitely. Before we go, Kevin, thank you very
Alberto's en
much
route.
for joining us.
Is he?
Alberto is en route.
Maybe.
Oh.
Who knows? He
Seems
could-
like
That was
it.
a response. That was a response.
he could be en route. He could not be, dude. Who knows?
Yeah, Kevin, thank you for coming on. Your Twitter handle is on the left-hand side. Is there anything else you want to promote or want to say?
No, I'm good. I'm just happy to be here. Happy it's after a win as well. It could have been a lot worse.
I need to add this really quick because when I was typing the tweet, keep Kevin's username up. When I was typing the tweet to tag Kevin in it,
Oh God.
first I like read it as Kevin or Rouge OF. Like it's like your OnlyFans. And like that's what my brain said, which is honestly a sign that my brain is also broken. But
Brain
like,
rot, brain is dead.
that
Brain-
is
brain
what
rot's a
came
real
to my
thing.
mind when I saw your handle instantly. So yeah.
Brain
Right,
rot is
one,
a real thing.
I've only got two
Officially
things to say
changing
in
it.
response to this.
Well,
One,
there
I'm
was no
changing it.
link in bio.
now.
sadly.
The second thing is, I really hope that people aren't going to click on my profile and think that they're getting something that they're not, because I'm not sending that content. All right,
Hey, why not?
it's just
Why
tweets
not?
about football, bad ones at that.
Yeah, unfortunately, Chris, I think you're just holding yourself there, man. That was the best of the
Spend too much time on
Brain rot
X.
is a
Yeah,
rot
yeah,
is a
yeah.
real thing.
Yeah, Elon. This is a sign on where Elon took that
Yeah.
It was. I mean, it wasn't good before, but now it's just.
but now it's just
Poison.
like in your face all the time.
It's all the time.
Yeah.
Facts. And on that lovely note, you can follow Chris right there. You can follow
The 69 on the end of yours doesn't help. By the way.
His OnlyFans is coming soon.
That is facts. You can follow Danny there. You can follow Richard there. Follow myself there. But most importantly, make sure you follow all things other on all social media and podcast platforms. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Peace.